Welcome back, my beautiful people, to This Week in Review. This is going to be a short one. I know I always say this every week, but this will be kind of short because we didn't have any struggles or challenges this week. And the question that I got for this week, it's fairly easy to answer. So let me get right into the question. The question comes from Mike. And Mike asked the question on, he's one of my subscribers on Instagram. He asked the question. So I want to bring this point. I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of DMs on my social media. I get a lot of DMs or emails from people. I can't answer every question. So if you want your question answered, the best to assure that you'll get your question answered, become a subscriber to my Instagram, because that's the people that subscribe and pay for my Instagram. I will definitely answer your question. If you answer the question here on YouTube, I will answer the question, but I'm gonna answer it in the written form. I won't answer it, and I won't call you. We won't have the discussion. But anyways, so the question is, what is the most difficult challenges that I've discovered as a short-term rental operator? Now, it's a good question. Each week I talk about challenges, but I'm going to answer this question this way. I'm going to answer it two ways. Number one is, as a short-term rental operator, what becomes a challenge is the day-to-day, right? Hence why I tell everyone all the time, before they even consider coming into the short-term rental industry, is that they have to love the hospitality industry. I mean, they really have to love it. Here's the problem with my industry, is the short-term rental industry. A lot of people get into this industry because of the money, right? They're motivated by the money, and or they watch some infomercial, or they saw some quote-unquote guru on Instagram or YouTube claiming that you can make seven figures or make a lot of money in this business. And, they're going to paint a pretty picture. And the people that get into the game because they believe that they can make money into this game are the people that are the first ones to get out, because they lack the patience to follow through on this process. You're not going to make money or a lot of money quickly. It takes time to build a portfolio. It takes time to build a customer base, because you have to remember, you have to build a portfolio, which is your first goal, is to get properties to put on or turn them into short-term rentals. And then you have to remember, then you have to get the people to book them, right? You have to get the guests to book them. So you're being double banned here, right? You're being banned by the fact that you have to create or get a large portfolio, because this is a numbers game. One property is not going to make you rich. You need a good amount of properties. And then once you have those properties, you have to fill them with people. So you have to focus on that guest acquisition. So if you don't love this industry, trust me when I tell you, you won't be in the game for a long time, because it's a lot of work, it's difficult work, and it takes time. And a lot of people don't have the patience to follow this through. One of the things that I learned early on in life was, do something that you're willing to do even if you don't get paid. That's almost a guaranteed that you will get paid if you're doing something that no matter what happens, you want to do it, whether or not you get paid or not, right? Okay, hope I answered that question. I'm sorry. Part two to that question is the following, and I mentioned it briefly, the challenge of this business, and one of the things that I find difficult, that I'm constantly working on, and you hear me say it a lot, is customer acquisition, right? You constantly have to be growing, and it's one of those difficult challenges about any business, is that customer acquisition component. As a short-term rental operator, you have two customers, or you have two things you need to worry about. You have to get the property, right? So if it's you, then you have to have the money to purchase these properties. If you're doing rental arbitrage, you got to get money and find a landlord to allow you to do rental arbitrage. And if you're managing other people's properties, then you have to have that customer, that person to allow you to manage that property as a short-term rental. So that's customer one. And then customer two is the guest, like I mentioned. If you can find, and here's the challenge, right? And here's what we focus on. I firmly believe that it's better to have 10, 20, 30 repeat customers or repeat clients than having 100, 200, and 300 one-offs is what I like to call them, right? Once you have a customer, you need to nurture that customer, and you need to hope and pray that customer stays with you for the long haul, right? In the short-term rental business, again, you're going to have, depending on where you are in the business, whether you are, you own the property, whether you're doing rental arbitrage, or whether you're being a property manager, the first step is finding the property, like I mentioned. But if you're doing rental arbitrage or you're managing other people's property, man, you better hope and pray, especially on the rental arbitrage side, you better hope and pray that landlord stays with you for a long time, because otherwise you're not going to be profitable. On the property management side, that customer doesn't have to stay with you long, but ideally, if they can stay with you 3, 4, 5, 6 years, man, that's phenomenal, right? On the flip side, with the guest, I focus on repeat customers. When you hear me mention direct bookings, those direct bookings oftentimes are repeat customers. We market heavily on customers that we get from the OTAs, because we want to keep those customers, especially if they're good customers. We want to keep them coming. So we want to do the best we can to provide a 5-star service so that they can come back, right? Then I don't have to worry about, trying to constantly be looking for that new customer to come in, because we're going to have a base that is going to sustain us for the long haul. Anyways, hope that answered the question. Now, let's get into this week's revenues. Where is it at? I'm sorry. Did I miss it? Okay, no. This week in rental revenue, we made $92,069.58. Other fees came in at $11,358.16. Booking sources. This was a interesting week. 55.6% of the bookings came in through Airbnb, which was number one. Then we had tied for second. We had Booking.com and HomeAway at 16.7%, and Marriott came in third at 8.3%. We followed behind. Our direct bookings followed behind after that. And then 2% was other. Okay. Project progress. Really nothing to mention here. We're still in the same position we were last week. Team and personnel news, same thing as last week. Upcoming goals and plans. Okay. As I mentioned, in the second week of February, I got a big announcement. So we have, and I just touched on it on the question we asked. So my major goal for the next month and a half is to increase my email list and try to get a better grasp on my customer acquisition side, right? I'm not focused as much going forward on acquiring more properties and or getting more customers on the property management side, because December, January, man, it was blessed because they were phenomenal months for acquisition. But now we're at our limit, and because I don't really want to continue to hire more staffing, what I want to do is shift our team's focus now on on occupying our properties, increasing our ARV. And how do we increase our ARV? By increasing the demand for our properties. The more demand we have for our properties, the more we can charge. We're in full gear into the season for us, which is February, March, and April. Spring break is coming up. There's a lot coming up the next couple of months. So we're full force into the season. Hence why it's important for us to focus on maximizing our occupancies in our property, occupancy rate in our property, so we can increase our RevPAR, thus make more money for the next couple of weeks. So that's our focus. Not to mention that we're still focusing on finishing up the acquisitions that we had. I'm traveling this week. I'm going to be going up to Georgia to focus on and overseeing the construction of the tiny homes that we're building. Plus, like I said, the announcement that I'm going to make, it's going to enhance what I'm referring to as the customer acquisition, right? When you have a customer, you want to monetize that customer as much as possible. You want to give that customer as much value so that they're more than willing to stay with you, not just in your properties, but continue to buy what the other stuff that we're doing. Like for us, it's going to be our upsales, our tours, and I'm going to touch into that greatly but I just need 2 more weeks, and then we'll touch into that. Anyway, if you want to learn more about customer acquisition, then subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to my Instagram, people. Please, if you want to donate as well, buy me a coffee. The link's down below. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.